Order, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thank everyone for their attendance. The minutes can reflect the role of various trustees and staff. Let's move on to item 3. Entertain a motion for the approval of the 9/7 village board and file the J6 zoning board of appeals, July 13th, public safety committee, July 14th, architecture review board, August 2nd, finance committee, August 9th, board of public works, August 11th, 2021, architecture review board, September 7th, board of public work minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion and second, as always, comments, questions, clarifications on the minutes. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. We have in our midst tonight, esteemed guest, Ed Drecko. She's one of our state elected officials. So if you would like to introduce yourself, say a few words under persons wishing to be heard.
Stand here.
Sure.
Hi, I'm State Representative Devlin Draka. Most of you I've met on occasion, and I'm sorry it took me so long to come to the meeting today. I've been wanting to get here for a while, but between all of our different schedules and summers and the state budget, things have been a little bit crazy. I won't take up any of your time. I'm going to stick to the 3 B's: be heard, be brief, and be gone. But I do want to add one more, and that's be of service. So if there is anything that I or my office can do in terms of bills that are before the legislature, issues that you have with state government, if you have constituents that are having trouble with state agencies, myself and my chief of staff are here to serve. So please give our office a call and consider us a resource. I'll leave some brochures with our contact information. We have bi-weekly newsletters and information coming out. So please let me know how I can help. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on a non-agenda item? All right, let's move on to item 5. Any information has been distributed in normal fashion. I did shoot out, I think, some information from local railroad. So at your pleasure. Let's move on to item 6.
We do have one business item under there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item 8. We have a resignation from our director of Park and Rec, Megan Phelan. So we need to officially accept that. So I'll entertain that motion to formally accept Megan's resignation.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I understand the posting has been open.
It is active. It does have a October 6th closing date. Keeping that window as open as we can, trying to strike that balance of having it open to cast a net, but short enough to lessen the turnover time.
Okay. Any open tasks that she's going to have to turn over?
I'll be meeting with her tomorrow afternoon, as a matter of fact, to go through a status update as to tasks at hand.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, now let's move on to 6th resolution. Ordinance action items. Item A is a resolution authorizing the urban forestry grant program on an annual basis. Upper.
Motion.
Second.
Upper motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Let's move on to item B, report of finance. That's a motion to recommend the village administrator enter into a contract for private contractor plan.
No. This is the wrong report of finance. That was placed in here. The report of finance.
Sorry. Let's get this in the right order. So this came over from finance just the last meeting.
There may be an error on the agenda, whereby from the last finance committee meeting, this would be an item to come forward under report of finance. However, there's also the out of normal protocol item brought forward, the Mid-Moraine Court proposed bond deposit schedule earlier this evening.
We wanted to act on that because you said it would take place in October, right?
Correct. Yes. Yep.
All right, well, let's take care of the one that we can take care of. I entertain a motion to approve the Mid-Moraine Court proposed bond deposit schedule as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. What is the harm in holding this off for first week in October.
There is no harm. We are advertising for it. I don't believe we've got an application yet. Basically, we would not have the person begin work until this action by the village board is taken, so it is not mission critical.
Move on to item C, report of the Board of Public Works. One item, a motion to approve and sign the statement of non-reimbursement with this DOT be approved.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion second, looks like there was good conversation in the minutes. Comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Move on to item B, report of the Public Safety Committee. We have one request, and that is from village attorney to table item 3. So I will entertain that motion to table item 3 to next village board. You be ready?
Ideally, yes.
I'll make the motion to table item 3.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 1 is a motion to approve the amendments to ordinance 9.3 smoking, regulation of smoking by minors and possession of smoking materials on school property be approved.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Looks like most of it is to include vaping and vaping material. Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 2 is a motion to approve the amendment to ordinance 1.08010 penalty where no penalty provided be approved.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion is second, covers a gap. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Move on to item 7, department officers reports. Jesse?
Certainly, touched on it very briefly before, in that the Park and Rec Director's position has been posted with a closing date of October 6th. I do have a meeting with Director Phelan tomorrow afternoon to discuss project status updates as I look to step back into the role of providing that general oversight to the department. I will also be meeting with departmental staff to discuss their needs and wants during the course of the transition period, and also looking to get a departmental budget proposal together as well with the assistance of Director Phelan prior to her departure. October 6th is also an important date as Coffee with a Cop event is coming back. We held at N7 Coffee this year. Additional information will be forthcoming and posted as we get closer to the date of the event. The railroad track repair resolution, as you recall, the village board passed a resolution as needed by the Office of Commissioner of Railroads to dictate that a repair be conducted. That said, we have not seen a lot of action out there, if any, so therefore, village attorney Jonathan Woodward is in the process of drafting a formal complaint as a follow-up to that. Later this week, I do have a meeting scheduled with Attorney Herbrand to discuss crafting a remote attendance ordinance, as I believe virtual meetings are our new normal. I hate that term, but it is what it is. So that said, the ordinance would be modeled after a similar ordinance recently adopted in a nearby community that would set forth and make clear certain basic meeting rules, including that remote attendance does in fact count towards a quorum. So really just clarifying the attendance via a remote medium and setting forth rules that govern that. So that is my report for this evening.
Thank you. Chief Amber, anything to add? All right, open up the board. Lisa?
I have a number of questions. Jesse, was there any headway made with speaking with the town about the library sharing for the updates to the library?
Yes, they do not have the flexibility we do with ARPA funds. That said, they are very, very favorably and receptive towards it, and we'll be looking to address that as part of their budget process.
So is the same cost share agreed upon, 21.5%?
That is what was represented to them per village board direction. Yep.
Okay, so they will
Yep.
honor that.
Yep.
And is there any update? I know that we had hired a new cleaning company and had to do it kind of last minute.
Mhm.
And I know that the police department had to kind of go outside of that contract because they needed to find people that were a little more bonded. or-
It was a matter of,
Okay.
right, unfortunately, the crews that were presented, so it's different crews for each building
Okay.
under the umbrella of the cleaning contractor. That said, the cleaning crew that was presented for consideration for the police department did not pass muster per se. So that said, after a couple of attempts there, Chief Caponera spoke with the clerk's office, who actually oversaw that transition of cleaning crews. They did their search and due diligence, and we have a contractor on board for the police department that did in fact pass muster. Katie, I would have to ask you for specifics as to cleaning crews here in Village Hall. I don't have any concerns. That's it.
Are they checked also?
Oh,
Are they
yes,
checked
yes.
for Safety and
Yes,
things like that.
yes, all crews brought forward were background checked. It just so happens that the particular crew brought forward for the service at the police department didn't pass muster.
Okay. My next question, I'm sorry, yeah, I got a question more. So for the budget coming forward, at some point, will we see this at our next committee level, or will this wait until we get the full budget? Will we see specific dollar amounts? I know when we looked at public safety
Mhm.
and we looked at the amount in total for, let's say, salaries, it wasn't really dissected out. For example, fire department, there's 2%, I think, in there for the part-time people.
Mhm.
But then there's also, I believe, a dollar amount for the possible full-time person as the administrative assistant. But there's no dollar amounts that I can see specific.
Mhm.
And that's something I'd be interested in for
Okay.
every position,
Okay,
police officers, because just to give us a number saying this is how much it'll be generally, because we really have to look at the total amount.
Or you're just looking at the summary of wages and salaries, you don't find individuals. I mean, that,
No.
okay.
So in the past, we would say for this position, it will be this much money.
Yeah, I don't think we ever done that at budget level, though. I mean, it's all
I
basically
mean-
wages and salary.
right. I can, through our payroll system, I can provide the board.
I mean, we have,
With-
we're being asked for something at public safety from the fire department, and I don't have any idea how much that will be.
So that's a separate item that I think if you're moving from a part-time to a scheduled full-time, we can identify what would be the pay grade, and then you can, what that person would be in the pay grade.
And explain what the change is from the part-time employment line item to the full-time employee line
So
item.
that's a change.
Sure,
And that makes sense.
Right.
But,
Sure.
I mean, I don't want, we shouldn't have to line out every police officer. what they're
No,
doing.
that's not what I'm asking
Right,
for.
this is a
But
change.
That is
Yeah.
a change in position, but also with other requests, and I think we did have a request from the police department that did have an amount, so I thank you for that. It was just tough going through some of the other budgets. I know Public Works had they had some costs that were out there that we could see,
I
so.
think we might start seeing some preliminary numbers.
we are still waiting on finalized some premium numbers we're waiting on for insurance. We are still waiting on finalized, some state shared revenue numbers. I don't have a forecast on that. I do have a meeting with Paul tomorrow and the next day as we continue to go through budget. I can provide an update in my weekly bulletin as far as what kind of a time frame we're looking at.
And one more. So we did get some information on public safety. I think Chief's been talking with the superintendent at the school on some items. One, I think they're talking about the school crossing guards. I think it's a perfect opportunity to bring the school liaison committee into play. It's been, we haven't had a meeting since August of 2019. Prior to that, 2015, 2013. I think that's something that we overlook, and I think it'd be great to get the school and the village back together.
Sure. I will reach out to the superintendent.
Okay, and my last comment, I guess, question. I understand that there was a survey that went out to some of the employees for the village, which I think we all get where we work. And I believe that just went out to full-time people, not part-time people.
No, it went out to all regular full-time and regular part-time employees.
Okay, is that something that we could have access to so that we can, review how things are going in the village?
Sure, as the management team sat down late last week to go through those results and really create an action plan to address the results that we saw. As we get that together, I'd be happy to present a final product to the board.
Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Jesse, on Park and Rec Director Phelan's departure. So during the next month of October, will we have an interim director?
That'd be me. I will be, again, stepping into the role of providing that general support to the department. And actually, thankfully, it works well here because it is a slower time of year for them. So again, that's another reason I want to sit down and meet with staff. What would they like to see as we have another transition period here and look to get that, shorten that to the extent we possibly can.
Have you possibly reached out to former Director Sastrom to assist you in that regard?
No,
Do you plan on it?
no.
Okay, the railroad track repair that, Mike, maybe you can help here too. That's on Washington and 9th, 10th, you know, that, the main one there. Well, I happen to go on the tracks to the north. They're bad too. And Dan, you had mentioned the one on North Avenue was kind of
Repaired, but
not the greatest. I mean, all three of those tracks need to be looked at.
These, you know, we can, I would say staff is well served to bring these forward, because as you can tell, these are long and frustrating processes.
Yes.
And so if that's the thought pattern, then we should probably initiate those processes. Since we're bringing it up.
Canadian National, of course, came out, and thank you for sharing that, but Canadian National is trying to do a very large acquisition of the Kansas City Southern, and they're in a big fight with the Canadian Pacific. And Canadian National is selling all of their short line railroad, which is this railroad moving north up to Kiel. Problem is right now it's stuck in the Surface Transportation Board for approval. And I would think at this point in time, Canadian National is like, well, it's going to be sold, great. But they don't know because the feds have not taken action on it. Typically, those properties are bought by the state of Wisconsin. And the state of Wisconsin owns the railway north, the railroad property north of Saukville, and it is typically operated by an operator. That's, I think it's going to be really hard to bring the national off their feet. But they do have ties at that. I don't know if you saw Washington Avenue, there are about half a dozen ties there. So they might be dropping some ties off.
Possibly a positive sign.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other?
We talked about it at Public Works, Amber, the wastewater plant, Headworks, open house. So
Yes.
I don't know if you had any more time to brainstorm when that might occur, but just between
We are-
you and Jesse.
Yeah, we
keep us informed.
tentatively, I can give you a tentative date, it's just not set in stone, but we're tentatively looking at October 26th at 4:30. Everyone wants to kind of pencil that in, we're still trying to work through everyone on our end and make sure that, you know, major items will be done and it will be
Yeah.
presentable.
What's the day of the week?
Tuesday.
Yes, I think it is a Tuesday before plan commission, was the thought, to do it before plan commission at 6. That can be reevaluated as well.
Are you looking for a day when you're not on it?
I'm looking
Committee?
for a day when I'm not busy. Tuesdays, Thursdays, I think.
Wednesday.
And it's possible to do it on Wednesday.
Wednesday was our original date and the chamber wasn't available, so I don't know how to balance everyone's.
Thursday? Oh, you can do Thursday.
We will definitely continue to look into this.
Fine, that's fine with me. All right, let's move on to item 8, entertain motion for approval of the operator's license as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Is it approved though? It says to be determined, right?
As to their workplace.
That's just there.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, okay. I'll second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 9, for the bills, entertain a motion for approval of various expenditures, $607,314.02.
I'll make a motion on that.
Second.
Motion is second. I saw the back and forth on the questions on the bills. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 10, motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for your time.